What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some breaking news that DeMeco Ryans discussed along with Cal McNair, really in the owners meeting that just happened today, but let's get straight into it. Starting off with probably the most interesting part of the conversation, and that was surrounding the new Aireontae Ersery draft pick that the Texans selected, second overall in their draft class in the second round at pick 48. And really the big news here is that DeMeco Ryans pretty explicitly said that Aireontae Ersery will start off as a tackle for the Houston Texans. Now, start off implies he will be competing for a spot at the tackle position. They're obviously not planning to move him to guard. Now, I was kind of on the fence with this decision. I'm someone who thinks he could be a really good guard, but you understand what the Texans are saying. They're saying he's going to start off as a tackle at his natural position. I doubt he beats out Cam Robinson. He might beat out Blake Fisher, but the reality is you don't really need more guard competition, even if he could be the best guard. So moving on to the second point really is there's going to be that strong offensive line competition. You have the tackles on the bottom left, the guards at the top right, along with the center spot you have to fill. But yeah, tackles, you've got Titus Howard, who really plays guard, but he could be a tackle. Trent Brown's a backup tackle. Cam Robinson's probably the left tackle, and then Blake Fisher probably the right tackle. But they were very adamant in saying that Aireontae Ersery will play a tackle position. I think this could change. I don't think this is something that's necessarily 100% set in stone. I think it's all, I think we rightly want a developmental tackle who can take over and be the left tackle of the future. And that's easy to say right now with Cam Robinson on a one-year deal. But if for some reason these guards can't get it done like they couldn't get it done last year, I think we will see Aireontae Ersery play guard in the future if he doesn't beat out anyone on tackle, because I think he could be a really good guard. But moving on, stepping away from the offensive line, they also mentioned Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward is progressing through his rehab. He had to get surgery on his foot after the first Chiefs game last year. Obviously, this was kind of an interesting spot for Jimmy Ward because we did give him a $4.5 million extension for another year, which seemed kind of unnecessary. Now, after the CJ Gardner-Johnson extension, it seems really, trade, it seems really unnecessary. I know DeMeco Ryans loves Jimmy Ward. I know Jimmy Ward embodies a lot of what DeMeco Ryans wanted to bring from San Francisco when he came over from that defensive coaching staff. The reality is, I just don't think Jimmy Ward's time here is that much longer. I felt like the extension was a little silly. So he's going to be on the team. You don't save that much money by cutting him next year. So he'll be on the team. I don't know if he'd want to be a backup, but I do envision him being a backup. Maybe you play him right in front of Kalen Bullock, but Kalen Bullock should be in the future cards for this team. Jimmy Ward getting older, not the best coverage safety, at all. I think he'll make a really good backup. Just depends on if he wants that role or not, but Jimmy Ward, specifically DeMeco Ryans said he was running, so that's good. He's pretty far in the rehab process, was seen running without a boot, so we like to see that from the veteran safety. Moving on, Tank Dell. The Texans said they will not rush Tank Dell. They didn't say this explicitly, but you kind of read between the lines. This is not really new news. We kind of knew that Tank Dell was likely done for the 2025 season. Honestly, this is not a big deal with the Jalen Noel selection in the draft. So kind of sucks for Tank Dell. I really hope he can stay healthy and try to make a comeback in the 2027 season. But in terms of this next year, we probably will not see any of Tank Dell. Look, on paper, Jalen Noel is his replacement. I mean, he's as good or better than Tank Dell. He's better physically, speed-wise, strength, height. Only thing maybe that Tank Dell has over him is just, the crispness of the routes. But even then, the gap's not that large. Like, Jalen Noel can really make this slot spot his position. When you factor in, the fact that Tank Dell is going to have to rehab, and you factor in that Noel can learn from Christian Kirk for a year, which I think is really beneficial. Also, if Christian Kirk, if this deal turns out to be a one-year signing, it's not a big deal because you have Jalen Noel on a whole rookie contract. So really good stuff there from the Texans. And then finally, just kind of throwing in a little bit of a bonus. This is actually kind of interesting. Cal McNair says the Texans are willing to move out of NRG Stadium for a new stadium in the greater Houston area. Now, that is not very descriptive descriptive. We don't know if he's talking about Katy, if he's talking about the Woodlands. I think I'm all for this move. I do have some attachments to NRG Stadium, but it just sucks getting to that stadium. Like, the roads suck. They try to block stuff off and make it easier, and it just always feels really cramped. Feels like it takes forever to get out of that stadium. So I don't know. I'm kind of in favor for moving more to the suburb area. Katy's a name that's been getting thrown out a lot. I don't know where Woodlands maybe. Woodlands is probably going to be hectic in and of itself, but they are planning to move the stadium. Let me know where you guys want the new Texans stadium to be. This is kind of interesting too because they still have like a bunch of time on the contract, like 7 years left on the contract with NRG, so they'd have to break that. It'd be a mess. New stadium's going to cost, $1 or $2 billion, so they'll probably need some funding for that as well. And the funding for NRG hasn't been paid off, so it's a mess. But they are considering moving stadiums this early into the contract. So again, that's really all for this video, guys. Just a couple new news stories. Let me know in the comments what you think about Ersery, Tank Dell, Jimmy Ward, and the Texans' plans to move stadiums. And I will see you guys in the next one, man. Peace out.